informative evening political show, Hot News. We are live on Pan-African Television. We're also live on Facebook at Pan-African Television, on YouTube at Pan-African Television, as well as 48 African countries. You can join in the conversation by sending in your views, comments, and contributions on our WhatsApp /text line. I'll be reading those messages out for you. Those of you watching us on Facebook can share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. Don't forget to leave your suggestions, questions, contributions, and all of that on our socials, especially on Facebook. And I'll be reading all those messages out for you. My name is Justice Appear. Tonight on Hot News, the new Patriotic Party has unveiled Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, popularly known as Napo, as the party's running mate to Dr. Mahama Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana and flag bearer of a new Patriotic Party into the 2024 election. It was done in Kumasi. A lot of people have spoken, including Napo himself, the Vice President, Dr. Mahama Bawumia. In fact, President Nana Akufo-Addo has also spoken. We'll bring you excerpts of what they have been talking about, or bites of what they've been saying at the ceremony which was held in Kumasi today. Also, former President John Dramani Mahama on Sunday had a media encounter, a situation where he called the media. He had an engagement with them. Media men asked him several questions, various questions, ranging from the economy, education, agriculture, local government, amongst others. John Mahama has been responding to some of their questions. One of the things that really caught my attention is about the free senior high school and whether or not, if given the nod, he will cancel it. And also, somebody asked if he supports the bill in Parliament which is seeking to protect the free senior high school policy. And the flag bearer of the opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Dramani Mahama, says he will support any bill that aims to improve education in Ghana. Responding to a question on whether he supports the free senior high school bill, he affirmed his support for any bill that would enhance the policy. He also served a notice, or he indicated on that platform that he is for the free senior high school policy. He's not going to cancel it. They will only review it. In fact, former President John Dramani Mahama said free SHS was introduced under their watch, except that the approach is what has been very different from what the new Patriotic Party has done. He termed what they did as progressively free senior high school policy as compared to that of what President Akufo-Addo and his new Patriotic Party government have implemented. Let's listen to former President John Dramani Mahama. We'll be right back.
Free SHS. Yeah, free SHS bill. I support any bill that will improve our education. One, to make it sustainable. Two, to afford quality education for our children. And so any bill that would achieve this is something that I'll support. I haven't seen the bill, and I don't think that it has been subjected yet to stakeholder consultation. But we would want to see the bill. And I'm sure that when Cabinet has approved it, it will be laid in Parliament. And when it's laid in Parliament, as a parliamentarian, the normal action is to refer it to the committee responsible. And I'm hoping that when that bill is referred to the committee responsible, it will do the proper stakeholder consultation so that we all can be on board. Because if you're making fundamental changes to our educational system, I think that parents, teachers, and everybody who has a stake in education must be involved. I don't know, we're just hearing rumors, and as long as we haven't seen the bill, you cannot say if they are authentic or not, but I think some of the things I've heard is to fuse the JHS and the SHS together. That is a very fundamental move. And so if you're going to do that, what will the impact be? What do teachers say? What do parents say? What do students say? What do all the stakeholders in the industry say? There are rumors that BEC will be cancelled, and so it's just rumors we've heard. Until we see the bill itself, we cannot make any determination. But like I said, I will support any bill that goes to improve quality and sustainability of our free SHS. Thank you.
But Your Excellency, she also wanted to know what your position on free SHS is.
My position on free SHS?
Aside the bill, yes.
My position on free SHS is known. In 2015, I launched progressive free SHS. That's what the Constitution says. The only difference between us and MPP is the approach. We thought that we should put the infrastructure in place and we should do the necessary preparation to absorb the free SHS. And so we started with day students. We made it free for day students. And in the second year, we absorbed 120,000 students on the free SHS. Nana Addo himself lauded me. It's there in the media. Just, if I had my phone here, I would Google it. They say Nana Addo lauds Mahama's free SHS. It's there. UNESCO, congratulated us for launching the free SHS. How can a person who launched free SHS be against free SHS? And so it's a political gimmick that is played by our opponents. Free SHS has come to stay. And nobody can roll it back. All we're saying is, let's improve the implementation. Let's take away the bottlenecks. Let's work to abolish the fast track. Let's be able to feed the children better by decentralizing the school feeding, the free SHS school feeding program. So those are all the kinds of initiatives we're thinking about. But we can only take that decision if we come together as stakeholders and discuss freely the challenges that it faces. Today, there is not the environment for a free discussion of free SHS. Ask any teacher or headmaster. If they make comments adverse to the conditions and implementation of free SHS, they are either sacked or they are transferred to Siberia. And so we must change that. We must free them to be able to come up and talk about it and discuss free SHS and how we can improve it. My commitment is to improve it. And so that political gimmick, if he comes, he will cancel free SHS. And I've seen some Osofutu going around and repeating the same thing. I don't know if he's, I don't know who he is, but he's also gone around repeating that same tired, hackneyed, political propaganda. I am committed to free SHS. I was the one who launched free SHS in this country. And
also, that was former President John Dramani Mahama. But in response to this, President Akufo-Addo has asked the former president to credit him for free senior high school and that he shouldn't claim the policy. The statement comes in response to John Dramani Mahama's claim that the free SHS policy was initiated by his government in 2015. President Akufo-Addo was speaking at Kumasi at the unveiling of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe as running mate to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Let's listen to him. We'll be right back.
Opayi a free SHS yedi bai wa bohu achinye aka bibia enje wo ho no na oka nansa ezo hu se Ghana fo asomu ekwan bi eni ho a obetumi asesa Ghana fo adwe wo ho o se enne ono ene de bai what we be that hey ampa Obayi osi ye wo refie wo ya ho Ghana fo na mo we say ne NDC penny osi ono NODS and free senior high school e bae na fi aden wo boy echi wo ho sa osi 2 billion cedis wo a ono 2 billion cedis enye free education no de be ya Bibi papa bi wo sensa obawe na se ne de wo hu sampa free SHS no ehia Ghana fo a onka se ofa me bo ma me ye ya ofa me bo ma me na onka se na da who give them ye fa no bo ma me.
So that was President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. But let's stay a bit on the unveiling of Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh as a running mate of the New Patriotic Party into the 2024 election. Now, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard AGYEKUM, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, has revealed that the party has several strategies to secure victory in the December elections. He was speaking to party faithful at the ceremony.
Choboy, let me tell you something. We know how to win the elections. We know how to win the elections. Tell the NDC people that now, MPP, we have finished from polling station, electoral area coordinators, constituency, region, national, MPs, presidential, and now it's the running mate. We have finished every internal elections in the MPP. Now, what is left is winning 2024 elections. They can't stop it. They can't stop us. 208, they delay us. 208, they delay us. 2024 election, NDC, you cannot stop us. You cannot stop us. You cannot stop us. We are winning. We are winning. We are winning. It is possible. It is possible. It is possible. It is possible. Tell the NDC people, we have 1 million ways to win 2024 elections. We have 1 million ways to win 2024 elections, and we are ready. We are ready. As a regional chairman and a campaign chairman in a certain region, I want to call all my brothers, all the regional chairmen to join me to send a signal to NDC. All regional chairmen to join me to send a signal that we are the campaign managers. We are the campaign managers in our various regions. And we are going to win.
Right, so that was Chairman Wontumi. Now let's come to the man and question. I'm talking about Napo. He also made a statement with regards to the 2024 election and the reason why the Ashantis should vote for the New Patriotic Party. He thinks that because he is a son of a land, the people must reward him by voting for the New Patriotic Party. He has gotten to, you know, the point where now tribal politics is actually setting in. Now let's listen to him.
That's all problem with the guy that could have done. Over that to be home with the enemy. Now why not the neighbor? Young Quachro. Young Quachro. Young Quachro. Kamutia. Opia Odim. Motia. Moko hen drawing. Motia. The 900 chip beboa. And so I call him. Motia the 900. As we call him. Miss Shamu. Meshamu, and then the baby be worthy. Samunia Nabo, Messadai, Mudia Naba, Mudia Naba. Someone come and warm me and said, Dr. Bao, and then Akufo-Addo and Nimonyama, every day, and come it. It's Yabasum, Yabere, Yabasum, Yabere, Yabere. Yaba coffee. I could send another Akufo-Addo in my poor year. I'm a Dr. Baumia and then Dr. Baumia up to the Vajaka, young Twabaman. Young person with 2% to a charge with you. Which President knows the car was the idea of fear. Yes, I deal with fear. I deal with fear. It's here per 85%. Young person with 75 in your we see her per day.
85%.
We see her per day.
85%.
Outside the middle 85 no. And then pay for the master there. Obia wa MPP mu. I was in fear watching. obi ahe ne bone obi akasa etia no de bibia siti on TV da no won kai so osre chi enye da e da osre chi enye da ho de de ase onu ma me ma biedu na ko ase onya aduane ma hwan ko abontin su ni enyere enfa nkodi obi a wo MPP a de kumanti bibi ha no se de bi nwa kere japo obeka ye no onfa nkyere na me nhyɛ de pakro no samra fie ma hu se akono ya ede ye kona nim na nka bom na ye nyina ye be ka bom no ye nyi akoji nim na ede aba mo bia cha santibe ekasa bibiansi yo the ever seen Dr. Bawumia and the Dr. Napa o me dig first on crank anim no wadi na Akufo-Addo bebo na ebe ya srebe efe so mi nua wo santimem ha na ya to abawie na nyakopo ama aso abafo abedari nipa akoti mama MPP na MPP enya 90% no akọ ofie ni ebose na ontimi mobie obia sorry waka
right so in Napo's first public speech to the good people of Ghana, he tells the good people of Ghana to take our Dr. Kwame Nkrumah because Akufo-Addo is the best thing Ghana has seen since independence. I would want you to listen to that. Then we will deal with that after the video is played. Let's listen to it.
MPP party no. Obi obeka sanya bi nhia bi ai obua. Na do da kwa Akufo-Addo. Odon kwa the president wa ba efie wotwe ekomo maada. Meboa. Efie wotwe ekomo nya den. Ewiase nyina akire kom no na Ghana wodai aduane. Wo me ade nyame ase. Nyame aye bia ma party no. Be na wase. Be di kan enema sabe tie. Aha bi je the whole dream ye. So your baburu na wo MPP a asema meka chewa ne se osum sompa ubako wanim. Osum sompa ubako de wanim. Oya task on yo, oya sadu ajumo, osum sompa oya de uko wanim. De ebinum Ghana kodru ye. Na ni da so ni no. Na do dan kwa Akufo-Addo aba amani to aso ye de aba. Sa na nyame babu amado kabomi aba na wasifie papa bi enya ye de yatsem. Etienne bijira ha bunyina ye kamo ndena na do dan kwa Akufo-Addo ase no oye bi nyame afa so ahia Ghana fo nyina nyefe so ye papa no abobra na wo ba na wo ba no abedi wade na odi tapade na ire akona nim na do dan kwa Akufo-Addo awo Dr. Bawumia ama na Ghana fo nyina o se bakoro ya no ho efe na ho akono ya di Ghana ni ma ya dai eye ya ti MPP kroi ebi sida ye nyina ye be ka bo ma bia ye adwumade afiwe ami ahye na do dan kwa Akufo-Addo ebi se odun kwa Dr. Bawumia be obeba ebi si wa MPP boda Ghana ha ya chechi Ghana abakosoma President Akufo-Addo call retirement but to be said case we say a free say chechi Ghana from 1957 ebe kan ye nya president bia wa boa Ghana che na do dan kwa Akufo-Addo Messi a free 1957 back kan mo form Kwame Nkrumah do mo form obia di wa ba di mampanya wa bo Ghana ho ban e di Ghana kola nim che na do dan kwa
was Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, running mate to flag bearer of a new patriotic party, Dr. Mahama Bawumia. But you've listened to him, you've listened to the very last video that we played. This is nothing but a loose talk. He was being disingenuous, he was not being honest, he was not being truthful. These are people who want us to go to the polls and vote for them to rule this country. Can you imagine? Look at the posture, look at his demeanor. You have been in power for almost 8 years now. In fact, President Kufuor did 8 years. President Akufo-Addo is doing 8 years. You put the two together, you are doing up to about how many years, and the truth is that since Dr. Kwame Nkrumah constructed the motorway, you've never added an inch to the motorway, and you are here comparing President Akufo-Addo to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Factories he built, schools he built. How many universities have you constructed or established in this country? How many factories have you done in this country? In fact, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah can never be compared to, or President Akufo-Addo can never be compared to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Sometimes when you are doing your politics, do your politics and leave Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah out. This is nothing but a loose talker who is loosely talking at, an event. I really don't know how to describe that, but this is so annoying. Well, I've been joined in the studio by Hamza Suini, who is a member of the National Democratic Congress Communications team. Hamza, how are you doing?
Well, not bad.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. And basically, it can all... Good evening to our cherished viewers.
Right.
Out there, and of course to my colleague seated to the right.
Right.
And your good self.
Very well.
Justice. It's been a while, largely because of the economic conditions in the country. Sometimes you have to be out there trying to survive.
Right.
And it's been quite tough the last 8 years, especially those of us who have been tagged as NDC members. Survival has not been easy. But we are born naturally to be social democrats.
Very well.
So as social democrats, irrespective of the stage we find ourselves in life, we still find avenues to paddle our ways through.
Very well.
So it's been quite difficult, especially under Nana Bawumia. But so if people like us are complaining, you can imagine what is happening out there, especially those who were not as privileged as some of us were. And most importantly, those of our brothers and sisters who still find themselves in the hinterlands, and especially being in Nordna, our people from the north, the economic situation there has been quite daunting as far as that sector is concerned. So yeah, that is the reason why I have been missing in action, but I'm pretty much convinced that now I'm back for good. I have always said that we have reached a stage in this country where all of us have to come out from our pigeonholes, put our efforts together to see how we can rebuild this country.
Right.
And that journey starts with getting these guys out of power so that we can have the luxury of time and space and the needed human capital to drive our agenda to reset this country.
Right, so that was Hamza Suini. Let me remind you that Hamza Suini is also a lawyer. In fact, today somebody attacked me on Facebook because I didn't add the lawyer to your name. So let me remind our viewers that he's a lawyer. In fact, he's a lawyer. A lawyer not in Ghana, but in the UK. But I know that very soon he'll be called to the Ghanaian bar. So an international lawyer we are talking about. Also in the studio with me is Mr. Solomon Owusu, member, Movement for Change, and a former member of a new patriotic party. Mr. Owusu, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, and good evening to Hamza.
Right.
And your cherished viewers.
Your former party has unveiled a certain Napo as their running mate.
Well, let me say that when I heard the party busily trying to settle on Napo, my only prayer was that they will actualize it. So, was it last week?
Yes.
When finally the flag bearer of the NPP submitted the name to the National Council, and National Council confirmed the name, I was the most happiest person on earth.
Okay. Why were you happy?
Because, you see, I know Napo. If for nothing at all, Napo went to Prempeh College. I went to Prempeh College. I know him there. KUST, I went to KUST. He went to Erasmus. I went to Erasmus. So I have known him on all these trajectories. And if you are looking for someone to be your vice president in these crucial times, he should be the least person to be considered in this whole enterprise. But that is the new patriotic party. Unfortunately, I'm not in the...
These are the prelims. I'll come to that topic.
But do you have time to discuss this?
I have time. I'll discuss.
Because always you'll be asking, give me 10 minutes. You're already Psalm 940 and you have 20 minutes to go.
Right. I'll do justice to everything. I'll start with you, Hamza, on the issue of... I don't know which one you would want to start with, but President Mahama's encounter with the media. He talked about the free senior high school policy. Apart from that, he touched on other areas, other sectors of the economy and all that. But that of the free SHS, President Akufo-Addo has responded to the former president. What will be your reaction to that particular one?
I think, first of all, Justice, there's the need for us to situate the discussion. In my attempt to respond to President Akufo-Addo, it is important for people to understand the perspective within which President Mahama was speaking.
You are doing 10 minutes.
I hope I can do that within 10 minutes.
Right, okay.
But it is important to understand the perspective within which President Mahama was speaking. We are talking about a leader who, since his emergence as vice president and president, has demonstrated nothing but fidelity to the rules and, most importantly, to the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and to his promises as far as the NDC manifesto is concerned. You remember, in 2012, when President Mills passed on and he took over the leadership of the National Democratic Congress and went to the Ghanaian people seeking their mandates to lead this country, he did not mince words about his position on the then proposed free senior high school that was being bandied around by the new Patriotic Party's flag bearer, now President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. President Mahama, in line with his fidelity to the truth, again made it clear that he was not convinced that it was the right time to implement free senior high school in its full form. And he enumerated the challenges that were bedeviling the educational sector, and the reason why we needed to hasten slowly in any overzealous move to introduce free senior high school. And when he was eventually elected, because the Ghanaian people bought that idea, and they gave him an overwhelming mandate, and he became president. In 4 years, the same President Mahama looked at the educational situation of the country and considered it prudent to implement the free senior high school policy, but in a gradual manner. If you remember, in a gradual manner, because according to him, there was the need for us to do so to be able to find out the teething problems that are likely to bedevil a wholesale implementation of the policy. And the Ministry of Education, under the leadership of our now running mate, Professor Jane Nano Pukwajiman, actually started the process of implementation of the phase 1 of the free senior high school. So clearly, it is on record that the free senior high school as a policy was started by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And his media encounter, when he made reference to that fact, he did not lie. Just this evening, I read about another association of Teachers Association of Ghana, something like that, to that effect, that has released a statement to the effect that they are not comfortable with the kind of politicking that has characterized the free senior high school, and that it should be on record that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama contributed significantly to the implementation of the free senior high school. And in fact, he was the one who started the first phase of implementation. And you would agree with me that when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo came in as president and hurriedly went through the wholesale implementation, and President Mahama once again raised the alarm bells, they refused to listen. But in less than a year, the finance minister himself, Ken Ofori-Atta, now retired, had to force a retreat to agree with the concerns President Mahama raised. And that was when he started talking about needs assessment of the implementation of the free senior high school, and that people like him, their kids should not be expected to pay. These were the issues President Mahama spoke about. President Mahama spoke about the infrastructural deficit in the country. And it was at the back of that he launched the community-day senior high schools. And it is again on record, even though the MPP is trying so hard to again denigrate that achievement, that before President Mahama left office, 50 community day high schools were completed. What have they done with the rest since they assumed office? And these are the questions Ghanaians should be asking. So that should tell you the kind of visionary leader we are talking about here. He did not just rush to implement free senior high school wholesale. He set this nation on a workable path to its true implementation. And that's why we started in the first place by expanding infrastructure in the senior high schools, and also launching what we call the community day senior high schools.
But the point President Akufo-Addo is making is that when he announced his intention to introduce the free senior high school policy, the president, the then president, Mahama, criticized him, but now seeks to take credit.
I think that I just laid the basis. I told you President Mahama's position on it. He was candid. He thought that he said that he was not convinced that it was the right time to implement it in a wholesale manner. And for that matter, he was ready to do it in a facial manner, phase by phase, and a gradual process. And he actually did that. So when President Mahama, you see, people are not asking the most fundamental question. And that has always been the kind of dishonesty that has characterized our political discourse.
Okay.
Remember, prior to the election of Nana Addo as president in 2016, they had campaigned alongside now Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, their flag bearer, and said that President Mahama had run down the economy of this country and that we had reached a stage where the economy was not functioning. You remember that? And there was nothing left in the government coffers. But ask yourself, if truly President Mahama had run down this economy, would the MPP have been positive? Would they have been in a position in 2017 to implement free senior high school? We all know the expenditure burden of free senior high school. It is simply because when they assumed office in 2017, they looked at the public coffers and they saw the level of prudence with which President Mahama and his team managed the economy.
Right.
And the resources that were available to them. That gave the new government the confidence to declare boldly, ignorantly though, that they were going to implement free senior high school. Justice. If you accuse a government of running down an economy and you come into office, would your first move be to implement such an expenditure-driven policy if you are not convinced of resources in the public purse? Definitely not. So they were emboldened by the resources President Mahama left behind. That was why they decided to rush through with the policy. But what happened? Then again, because they lacked the vision, they had seen so much money and they could not understand why President Mahama was not spending it the way they did. That has run this country bankrupt. So they rushed into the frenzy of expenditure. And at the end of the day, by 2019, even before COVID took shape, this economy began crumbling. Because what they were simply doing, they were not creating any economic ventures. They were spending what had been accumulated by His Excellency President Mahama. Right. And so, to conclude, Justice, it is important for people to understand that this has always been the stock in trade of the NPP. It is an agenda to talk down on any leader who is not part of their stock. So this outburst by Napo is simply in sync with that. We all know what they did to His Excellency Dr. Kwame Nkrumah,
right,
and how they have tried for decades to denigrate his legacy. We all know what they did to His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings. We all saw what they did to His Excellency Professor John Evans Samuels of blessed memory. We all saw what they did to John Dramani Mahama. So it is an agenda that they pursue as a political party. And the time has come for Ghanaians to understand and appreciate them for who they truly are.
Right.
They are a bunch of dishonest politicians who feel entitled, as far as the leadership of this country is concerned, to whatever good that comes out from our political process. But I can assure you that the NDC of today, the flag bearer of today, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is not the same flag bearer they met in the 2016 election.
Right.
It's not the same flag bearer they met in 2020. This is an entirely different flag bearer we are dealing with, with vested experience when it comes to the political process of this country. I can assure you, once again, Justice, that this is not the time we would allow their propaganda to fester. We will meet them boot for boot, and we will assure them that whether they like it or not, the political history of this country with regards to the free senior high school education would never be written without the fact that President Mahama was the one who started the entire process.
Right, so that was my very good brother, Hamza Sohini, lawyer. Let me come to you, Solo. Solo, you would want to touch on the encounter with the media, which was held by President John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency.
Well, I watched the encounter with the media. Let me say, it's a good thing. If you want to lead a country, you must give an opportunity to citizens to ask you what your plans are, what you intend to do.
Right.
So to the
You are doing 10 minutes.
No problem.
Right.
To the extent that was allowed, it's a good thing. Let me also say that most of the policies that he churned out during the encounter are things that are contained in the Great Transformation Plan. President Mahama speaks of stabilizing the macroeconomic environment. That is what the GTP talks about when it comes to the economic cluster.
Right.
Dealing with the macroeconomy, stabilizing interest rates, reducing taxes, expenditure control, and so on and so forth. All these are captured in the Great Transformational Plan. President Mahama talks about focusing on agriculture. How many times have I come here and discuss with you the new agricultural revolution contained in the Great Transformational Plan? So we are on the same wavelength. He talks about Operation Feed Yourself. Alan talks about Operation Own a Farm. So to that extent, why would I disagree with what he's saying? Policy-wise, Alan and John Mahama are almost pursuing the same solutions to the problems of this country.
Okay.
And so you remember when Alan went to Kumasi and said anyone that said he or she did not believe in the 24-hour economy didn't know what he or she was about. Because the 24-hour economy is an effect of a running economy. And you can only run an efficient economy when your economic and macroeconomic environment is stabilized, when you are engaged in productivity, and productivity by, I mean, engaging in massive agriculture, engaging in industrialization, so that you can export more to be able to rake in the much needed forex to show up your city. So I was happy in terms of the free SHS. I think this is a country where we celebrate mediocrity.
Okay.
You understand? Because if you read the 1992 Constitution and the Directive Principles of State Policy, Article 38.2, what does it say? It tells you that 2 years after Parliament meeting, Parliament met when? In 1993, is that not the case? So 2 years after that, and 10 years preceding that or post that, we are supposed to enjoy free basic education.
Right.
If you are defining basic education to include secondary school, why is it that anybody will come and tell us that he or she must be applauded? You have only fulfilled the constitutional provision. And we did not vote for you to come and enjoy yourself. And mind you, nobody begs anyone to be president of this country. All of them come to beg us that they want to serve us. So we must entrust our tax revenue to them. We do so, and when they come, they say we must applaud them for using our own tax revenue to do the very thing that they are supposed to do. The only people that are deserving of any praise are the citizens that pay taxes. I would never get up and applaud any president in this country for anything. If you have your own money and you do it on behalf of this country without being the president, then I'll come and I applaud you. But you are using my own money. You think I applaud just like that? So let President Akufo-Addo together with the new Patriotic Party be told in the face that they have done nothing when it comes to free SHS. Indeed, they have worsened the situation.
They have done nothing.
Oh, what have they done? They have worsened the situation. Go to the various secondary schools.
A lot of households have benefited from this policy.
For Christ's sake.
Under normal circumstances, parents who couldn't have paid for their awards are now having the awards in the various secondary schools. They've not done anything.
Justice, you see, I wish one day you open your phone line.
Okay.
and allow parents whose wards are in the various secondary schools. Ask them how much they are paying. You say free? Look, you know they are going to write WASI, is it August or so?
Right.
It's a month to WASI. Those that did not engage the services of tutors, extra classes, they have not covered half of the syllabus. Because the teachers in there, they are not teaching them. They say if you want to cover, come to extra classes. If you are a parent and you are not ready to pay, your ward will fail. What sort of food are they being given? Parents are always rushing to the various secondary schools to go and give their wards food. Some are staying in hostels that they are paying for. So instead of fixing the mess, you are going about talking about free SHS as though you brought your own money to come and implement it. So forget about the president who has used our $58 million to go and only dig a big hole. Why are they not interested in just that hole that is there?
President Mahama says he will investigate it once it's given.
There is no need to investigate. He must round up all the pastors and the president for causing this country that financial loss. What are you investigating? This country will set up committee for that. Is it not a fact that they will say, oh, is it not a fact that 58 million citizens have been sacked into it? You can run all of them to the court. And mind you, no pastor must be allowed to take himself out. Because they were the reason why President Akufo-Addo had the nerve to say he will use our money to go and invest in something that he claims was a promise to God. If you have promised God, why wouldn't you use your own personal money? Did you promise God would be? And God would have slapped him if indeed he promised him, because God doesn't like thievery. Look, what is happening in Kenya must be an eye-opener to the people. Now Ruto is being led by the youth. If adults misbehave, the youth will lead them. What is this? What sort of country are we living in? That the young ones get up and they don't know their left from right. They don't know where they're going to get the next meal. And you have adults who are sitting on billions of dollars, stolen from the taxpayer and telling them rubbish. And you think you're happy with it? Every morning I always tell you, go to the Abelebe traffic light. They are there in their thousands. They want to go to Canada. Why would anybody want to leave a land full of honey and gold into a land full of snow? Because of the irresponsibility of people, the so-called people call leaders. So President Akufo-Addo, as for him, I don't blame him that much, because he told us that he has checked out since last year.
Okay.
And that whoever will take over will solve all the problems. And that whether or not free SHS, he brought it, it's not what is going to determine who wins the next election. Where we have gotten to, it's above your free SHS rhetorics. We are just churning out students to university when they finish. This year, the National Service is saying they are going to place 133,476 into various institutions. Those that started last year and are about ending, how many of them have gotten jobs? Those preceding them, all of them are home. And that is why betting, the number of people engaged in betting, the figures are so astronomical. Because they are not getting any jobs to do. That is not your concern. Because we are paying you.
But President Mahama says he has solution for that, and the 24-hour economy policy will take care of that.
I have said that, you see, the 24-hour economy would only be a natural effect of a running economy.
Okay.
You understand? If the economy is doing well, as you are sitting here, you are running a pub, people have money in their pocket. You think you will close it. You engage more people to work. That is why Alan targets the idea of stabilizing the economy.
Okay.
If your interest rate is not low, how would the businessman go to bank to borrow to expand the business? Under the indicators, the current indices that this government is leaving behind, I'm telling you, if anybody promises you that immediately it comes to power, the first year to be 24 hours, the person is lying to the people, and I don't want to be part of lying. Already we are with the IMF. You get my point? And so we have to be measured. And I like it. At the point, John Mahama said he is not going to overpromise. It's a good thing. Be real with the people. You see, people are losing faith in our politics and politicians because of the lofty promises that we are given, which cannot be fulfilled. Let's hasten slowly, tackle the fundamentals, and so we gain the confidence of the people to build this country. If it will take us 30 years for all of us to sacrifice and build it, so be it. But to say we want to let it grow and enjoy some people sacrifice to get independence for us to enjoy. Some of them did not even live to see the independence for a year. They died. Why is that we don't want to do that? May I have said, if we are going to even devote our time for a year, for 2-3 years in improving our agricultural situation, I'm for it. But when the people are satisfied, it helps everyone. So it's a good thing. Let it continue like that. He must solicit views as Mr. Alan Chamate has been doing. And at the end of the day, we will all go to the polls. Let the Ghanaian decide on who can take this country forward. It's not a matter of I was born into this political party or that political party. It is about the individual. Because mind you, at the end of the day, the decisions that are made in terms of tax policies, revenue policies, and everything rest on an individual.
Right.
Not a political party. How many people go to cabinet? Do you have more than the entire political party members going to cabinet? That is why in choosing who leads you, you must be careful.
Very well. All right.
Justice, sorry, but I think that I need to step in here to provide some clarity.
Very well. Go
as
ahead.
far as the 24 hours
economy is concerned.
Okay. See, if you listen to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama very well, my brother, in his encounter, once again,
so you are doing another 10 minutes.
Oh, you are 10
Yes, 10 minutes.
Thank you.
What you do for me is that you respond to Solo and then you touch on the unveiling of Napo and some of the statements he made today.
But see, first of all, I think he made it quite clear in his engagement with the media that when we talk about the 24-hour economy, we are not saying that in his first year, what we are going to roll out to the people is straight away is 24 hours. He spoke about the structure of the 24-hour economy and made the statement to the effect that we do not seem to have a policy as a country to regulate that sector.
Sure.
So his government would work assiduously to come out with a policy framework. And he acknowledged that as we speak, there are certain sectors or there are certain private companies that are interested in doing the 24-hour economy. But one of their major hurdles has to do with security. And he made a statement to the effect that it is the responsibility of government to provide security to such businesses. And his government would do that. So you have to appreciate the nature of the promise being made by His Excellency President Mahama and to understand that it is workable.
Right.
So within the first year, it is possible for this country under his leadership to provide the needed security to agencies and private entities that can run the 24-hour economy. That's the first step. Another important step is also to provide the policy architecture to drive it and to guide even subsequent governments as far as its implementation is concerned. And we need to appreciate that point. So it's not just any promise that His Excellency is making, but it is a promise rooted clearly in deep thinking when it comes to policy formulation within the NDC. And I'm sure that you can credit the NDC, especially His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, when it comes to honesty as far as the leadership of this country is concerned. You see, then straight away to Nanado's outburst again.
On the Free Senior High School.
On the Free Senior High School, just briefly. You remember that when His Excellency President Mahama said that he started the first phase.
Yes.
When they came to office, they did not even implement an entire wholesale program. Remember, they started with the first years. It was simply a continuation of what President Mahama had done before they went into second and third years.
So
but like my brother said, what President Mahama was afraid of as president is what is happening today. Though the school fees are claimed to have been wiped off, people are subjected to all manner of levies in our schools. Our students virtually, they barely stay on campus for up to a month or two. They spend most of their time in senior high school at home, They spend most of their time at home. Even their teachers are struggling to be able to come out with a workable lesson, or if you like, topic structure to be able to handle these students. And so there are so many problems bedeviling the sector. When it comes to their feeding, it's another whole issue altogether. So clearly, we are having challenges as far as that sector is concerned, but the dishonesty of these people, they are not interested in communicating the challenges and confronting it head on. All what they are interested in is, like they have always done, is the political buzz around free senior high school and the illusion that it is somehow beneficial to the parents of these wards. When in actual sense, they are suffering under the so-called free implementation of the senior high school than they were. Because those days, the economy was better. Even if you gave them perspectives, they were in a position to buy. Look at the rate of inflation. Look at our economic indices today. So you have run down the economy, you have brought people back to course 90, and you expect them to applaud you for such level of incompetence. And so, justice, we need to understand where these guys are coming from. And I have said that President Mahama even comes in now better than he was as president.
Okay.
Trust me.
What makes him better?
Look, he has tested the experience of being president for 4 years. He has lived the experiences of being a former or a flag bearer for 8 years in opposition.
A second. Titi, please give me 10 more minutes in addition, I beg. 10 more minutes. Because Hamza will do 10 minutes, I'll give Sori 10 minutes.
But if you are giving 10 minutes, how would I do 10 minutes when he's on the floor?
So it means that we have an extra 10 minutes for you. So you can go ahead, Hamza.
And so, basically, you need to understand that His Excellency comes on board now with a vast level of experience. And he made that point clear. He said that the economic nature of our country, the dire state of the economic conditions of this country, requires an experienced hand, and an honest one at that.
Okay.
And he's better prepared to confront those challenges. And he promised an eventual turnaround in no time when he assumes the reins of government, so that once again we can reset this country. And that is important. And you see, unfortunately, because of the posture of His Excellency President Mahama and the NDC, these guys have succeeded in painting President Mahama, when he was president, black. And so even up to date, we are faced with a situation where we need to remind the Ghanaian people that all what these guys are experts in is churning out negative propaganda.
Okay.
But beyond the propaganda, when you go beyond it, you would appreciate that President Mahama is one of the most beautiful guys who have walked this planet called Ghana, or this earth called, this country called Ghana, as far as leadership is concerned. Because he would look into your eyes clearly and state it as it should be. It is not about votes for him. It is about principle, it is about fidelity to the constitution of this country, and it is about respect to the Ghanaian people.
Right.
And that has been President Mahama. And you see, now to move on to what happened in Kumasi today.
Yes.
I am not even going to attempt to speak on the lack of excitement in the crowd that was even buzzed to that event. But you see, an effective analysis of Matthew Opoku-Prempeh cannot be effective if you do not seek to understand his nominating authority. In this case, Dr. Bawumia. I've heard all kinds of things about the personality of Matthew Opoku-Prempeh.
Right.
I am really not interested in that. To be able to appreciate the character of Napo and why Napo was selected, much attention should be given to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. And I will tell you why. First of all, when Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was nominated as running mate to His Excellency Nana Addo, we all still remember his famous lectures on the various campuses in this country and the promises Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia made about the economy of this country. Today, under His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, exchange rate was less than 4 to the dollar. Today is almost 16.
True.
Under His Excellency President Mahama, external debt of this country was about 120 billion. Today, under them, it's over 700. So they have added over 520 billion.
120 or 122 billion.
That's why I said approximately 120 billion.
Okay.
Today, They have added over 570 billion to the external debt in 8 years, in less than 8 years actually. Under the same Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia attended, universities to host lectures and promised that they were going to move from taxation to production. As vice president and chairman of the economic management team, he presided over the introduction of over 40 taxes in our economy. As we speak today, COVID is over. We still pay COVID levy even at the ports. Mind you, when they assumed office, he told all of us that the exchange rate had been stabilized and that the keys was given to who? The IGP. Today, what is happening? So you would notice that a careful analysis of the personality of Dr. Bawumia, he comes across clearly as a personality who cannot be trusted. That's one aspect, one leg of it. Okay. Another important thing you need to understand is what has been his track record upon going into government. Right. When he assumed the reins of governance as vice president, the same man, conveniently, when the economy started manifesting its true nature, moved away from the economy and branded himself a digital expert. Today, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia finds it extremely difficult to talk about the economy of our country and even the digital space that he struggled so hard to give himself. President Mahama matched him boot for boot and demonstrated his investments as sitting president in that sector. Okay. That has what has brought that buzz of a so-called digital vice president down because of the response of President Mahama in the NDC. And again, unveiling another level of dishonesty. One thing significant, I'm sure my brother would agree with me, is again, how loyal can he be? Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has no shred of loyalty except to himself. And I'll tell you why. Why? When President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo was flag bearer of the NPP, we all know the nature, the frosty nature of the relationship between Nana Addo and Kufuor at the time. At no point in time, as flag bearer, did President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo distance himself. You can blame President Nana Addo for all the problems under the sun, but you cannot say on any platform that Nana Addo Akufo-Addo distanced himself from the presidency of President Kufuor. He was not even a vice president. He was an attorney general and subsequently minister for foreign affairs. He never, as flag bearer, even despite the fact that there was, if the relationship between the two gentlemen was kind of frosty and everybody knew. Right. He demonstrated loyalty to the NPP cause. What did we see recently? When he said that he was unveiling his new vision, new man. He sought to distance himself from Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and this current administration, of which he is part. Not just part, but head of the economic management team. Again, for his own selfish gains. That is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So, this is the kind of personality we are dealing with. And people are talking about Dr. Napo being arrogant. Again, to understand Napo, you need to focus once more on the appointing authority or the nominating authority. We all know, those of us who are not nice, permit me to go back home. We know the kind of reverence we're expected to give our senior brothers. We saw Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's conduct in the 2016 election against His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Right. That disdain, that outright disrespect, not just to a senior brother, but even to the presidential seat of this country. We saw what we did. That arrogance. He took that into government. That was what compelled the Yana recently, when he went to pay homage to the Yana. And the Yana had to caution that don't forget, once again, that John Dramani Mahama is your senior brother. And so I expect some level of decorum as far as this election is concerned. Who can fault President Mahama for his language, even when it comes to responding to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as a junior brother? So, but those of us from the north, we know our upbringing. Right. So when we hear him speaking, we can appreciate the level of arrogance and disdain and disrespect, not just to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, but to even our own cultural underpinnings. Because those of us who are mature are scared. What is he manifesting to the younger ones out there? Everybody knows the values we hold dear as nobleness. He has breached every principle of cultural underpinnings as far as the northern regions are concerned. And so, but then again, he tries to present himself as a humble person.
Right.
Kneeling before even people he shouldn't kneel. Another calculated move to deceive Ghanaians. And so when such a person ends up nominating Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, why should you be surprised? Justice, let us be fair, let us be honest with ourselves. When such a person ends up appointing Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, why should you be surprised? And that's why I made the point that people are missing the point. The spotlight should not be just on Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. To understand the choice and the character Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, you need to understand the nominating authority, and in this case, Bawumia. And so if all these things I have presented to you presents Bawumia as someone who is not trustworthy, as someone who cannot be loyal, and he has proceeded at the back of that to nominate, what's his name? Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, a licensed charlatan, excuse my language, because there's one basic principle when it comes to political office responsibility. Know how to speak to the people. Be responsible in your utterances. What people don't understand is that when Ghanaians or when citizens rise up against a government, it is not just about issues of corruption, but sometimes it has to do with the utterances of political office holders. And my brother made references to what is happening in Kenya. It was the same kind of language.
Right.
And that is why we are worried.
I
will, please. That is why we are worried. Because if indeed people are concerned about the stability of this country, then even the decision to nominate Matthew Opoku-Prempeh should be one that we must all come out as a people to condemn. If people are seriously worried and want to prevent a Kenyan situation, we must avoid characters like him. This is a gentleman who sat on national TV in parliament and indicated that he was going to protest against his own government for taking developmental projects or even proposing to take a developmental project to another region of this country, in this case the Volta region. This character, this is the same person who took Ghanaians to the cleaners for simply demanding that load shedding timetable be made available. Even if you are load shedding for 1 month, it is incumbent on you, as far as the dictates of our democratic governance is concerned, for the Ghanaian people to know the nature of load shedding you are doing and the time so that they can plan appropriately. Right. This guy insulted all of us. You listen to Otumfuo. Otumfuo struggled to clear his arrogant tax and only cautioned that he should not let Dr. Bawumia regret for choosing him. It spoke volumes. And these are issues that you cannot just take lightly. If indeed, you see, when people talk about stability of our country, it is not just about the economic fundamentals. Okay. It is about utterances like this and the conduct of NAPO that we must pay attention to. And so, Justice, I can assure you, if you look at His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and our running mate, in this case, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Addo, they have conducted themselves in a manner that truly reflects the Ghanaian cultural traditions. They have conducted themselves in a manner that gives meaning to even our 1992 constitutional framework as far as democracy and its implementation is concerned. They have at all material times mindful of what comes out of their mouth, because they appreciate that as leaders, a little mishap in communication can turn this country on its knees. And so we need that level of soberness when we are dealing with issues of governance. These two people, clearly, they're lacking.
Thank you so much, my brother, for your submission. Now, let me come to you, Solo. The New Patriotic Party has unveiled Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, a.k.a. NAPO, as their running mate. He made some statements afterwards. You've listened to those statements, where he was asking the people of Ashanti region to vote for him because he is a son of a land. He's one of them. And also, he likened their administration, Akufo-Addo's administration, to that of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. According to him, since independence, no government not even Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah has performed like Akufo-Addo did. What's your take on that?
First of all, I don't remember the last time the New Patriotic Party, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, nominated a running mate, and that running mate was unveiled in his hometown. I don't remember. If you take Roland Alassane in 1992, he was never unveiled in Dagbon or Yendi.
Okay.
If you take Aliu Mahama, he was never unveiled in Tamale or inaugurated in Tamale. If you take Dr. Bawumia himself, he was unveiled in Takrady. So Napo's situation speaks volume. It tells you how the NPP is struggling in the Ashanti region. Remember, the decision to choose Napo, according to the NPP, was to organize the NPP in a stronghold. You have to underline that carefully.
Right.
Why would anybody want to go to a stronghold? You are saying it's your stronghold. So why would you go there and organize them? It tells you that the stronghold is in disarray. It is in disarray because if you look at the Ashanti region, and just like many other parts of this country, they are predominantly traders and farmers. And if you have a government that is doing a policy rate of 29% with the commercial lending at 45 to 50%, then you are assured of destroying the very foundation of Ashanti. And so recently when the vice president went to Kumasi to engage the business community there, they told him in the face that do not consider Ashanti region as your stronghold because you have successfully destroyed our livelihood, and that is what we are dealing with. I'm not too sure what Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh brings on board because this morning when I checked the forex market, the interbank rate, before he went to Manshia to greet Otunfo, it was 15.6.
Okay.
The moment Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh was unveiled, it moved to 15.9. The market reacted negatively because the man is not bringing anything on board. But you see, just like Hamza said, lack of enthusiasm. If you look at majority of people gathered there, and mind you, this is a crowd coming from the entire country. They were back from all over. I saw some from Okakwe, South my own constituency, from Dome, and they themselves confirmed it, that it was a national rally. So for you as a political party, incumbent party, with all the resources, and if this is all that you can do, then it speaks volume. Now you see, Napo naturally would give votes to oppositioners. And let me tell you, after his speech, more people joined the movement for change because there was a program on Tech FM that they opened the phone lines, and because of what he said, most of them said, we had already left the MP, but he has cemented our position in remaining with the movement for change. Why? Because of your running mate and lack of appreciation of your own history. Your own uncle, President Kufo, you are saying Nana Akufo-Addo has outperformed him. He's not there though. Your own uncle, President Kufo, is alive. He did not use $58 million to go and dig a hole. You are saying Nana Akufo-Addo, who has successfully destroyed this country, outperformed him. So why would I have a problem?
Excitement made him.
What is over-excitement? Because you see, he wanted to please. You see, the mass speaker. You know, when he mentioned Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's name, he was going to mention another name. Then he realized that it was Kufo that he was going to mention his name. He goofed. But me, when you mount a podium and you give the microphone to the president or the vice president or Napo, all that I do is hallelujah.
Briefly touch on this before we end the program.
Yes.
What do you make of his statement that President Akufo-Addo has performed better than any president since?
No, it's true. It's true. He has performed in negative sense than any of the presidents. Okay. Which president came to this country to use our money to go and dig a hole?
Right.
As we speak, inflation is 23.1. As we speak, the unemployment rate is 14.74. He was able to send our debt to GDP over 100%.
Right.
So he has outperformed everyone. You understand? Currently, people don't know what to eat or where the next meal is coming from.
Right.
He is the only president in the history of this country that came to appoint 123 ministers.
Let's get going.
So, indeed, in negative sense, he has outperformed all the previous presidents. That is how I see it. But in terms of positive sense, President Akufo-Addo remains the laziest, the most incompetent, the unserious president that this country has ever had.
Right,
and that
you.
this country, never again must we have a person in the person of President Akufo-Addo to lead us into a ditch, but rather go for a competent person to lead this country to
also member Movement for Change, and also with us in the studio tonight is Hamza Suhini, member of the NDC communications team. This is all time we're last on the program. We get time with us. Same time tomorrow. My name is Justice Appear, and the show has me on this. Good night.